welcome to Squad, your source for everything esports and gaming. Tonight, it's a cat fight. Meryl and Unmuted because Marissa and Lisa are going at it, and hopefully Lisa doesn't cheat. She's done that before. Hopefully she doesn't do it this time. In Esports in 30, Vodible is calling in to talk RLCS. But first, it's time to take a look at the toughest bosses in Sekiro Shadows Die Twice in Rank It.
Just like From Software's previous games, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice has some hard bosses. Like really old school Nintendo hard bosses. And we're gonna rank the top 5 hardest bosses in Sekiro right here, right now. And fair warning, there will be spoilers in this video. Seriously, if you thought the early game bosses were hard, wait till you see the end game ones. Coming in at number 5 is the Guardian Ape. You fight him after traveling through the sunken valley, and he's sitting in a small pond just chilling. He's got a massive sword stuck in his neck, but that doesn't stop him from beating the ever-loving crap out of you. With crap. I mean, he will literally throw giant pieces of poop at you during the fight. Parrying this all is difficult, but before you know it, you'll decapitate him with a dramatic death blow. But if that was all the Guardian Ape was capable of, he wouldn't be on this list. It isn't long before the giant monkey rises up from the ground, picks up its head and sword, and proceeds to unleash pain upon you. Now he'll be striking you at much longer range with a sword, and he can also create terror that can instantly kill you if the bar fills up. Combined with his huge health bar, the Guardian Ape is a boss that will push your skills to the limit regardless of his form. Next up on our list is the true corrupted monk guarding the entrance to the Fountainhead Palace. Now you do fight this woman earlier in the game, but she only has 1 health bar at that point. That's because that was a fake, and her true form features 3 health bars that can take a lot of punishment. But you won't be damaging her vitality in her first 2 forms because the corrupted monk blocks nearly everything. You'll struggle to build up her posture meter because her attacks are fast and varied, and she is relentless. You might be able to get an easy death blow or 2 on her by jumping into the tree branches, but that's not guaranteed. Her illusions are tough to deal with since they can appear behind you, and coupled with the length of her naginata, make her difficult to approach. As a result, the corrupted monk easily takes a number 4 spot. At number 3 is Owlfather. In the main story, Great Shinobi Owl is a challenging fight that you'll have to conquer if you want the good, or at least not bad, endings. But it's his optional fight at Hinata Estate that makes our list. Why this version? Well, for starters, the number of different combos he can do is staggering. Just try guessing what his next set of attacks will be. Not only that, but he can break your posture meter with just a few hits. And in the second phase of his fight, he can literally turn invisible and unleash an AoE attack on you if you're not prepared. This fight requires patience, and I mean a lot of patience, as you wait for the perfect moment to chip away at his large health bar. Owlfather is a master ninja, and you'll have to use every tool at your disposal if you want to put the old man down for good. A runner-up is an optional boss that appears at the very end of the game, and for good reason. The Demon of Hatred is unlike any other boss in the game, being a massive demon that can light his arena on fire thanks to his lengthy left arm. And boy, does he love to light you on fire. No matter if you're up his crotch or running away, the Demon of Hatred loves to send fireballs, fire waves, and fire skulls at you that will wreck you completely. That is on top of the large hitboxes on his attacks, which will often damage you even if you aren't directly hit. Not to mention, this guy has 3 health bars. And unlike the corrupted monk, the Demon of Hatred will take a ton of hits before his posture meter even begins to budge. With each health bar depleted, you'll have to deal with new attacks, most of which either instantly kill you or destroy all but a sliver of your health. The Demon of Hatred stands alone out of all of the bosses in Sekiro in design, but would probably be the ultimate challenge for most players if it wasn't for our number 1 pick. And the hardest boss in Sekiro is none other than the last boss for most of the game's endings, Ishin, the Sword Saint. This is the patriarch of the Ashina clan, brought back to life at the height of his power, which means he is the greatest single warrior in the game, bar none. In the middle of a lightning storm in a field of flowers, Ishin proves that he is less a man and more of a force of nature. In his first phase, Ishin can slice the air with a single sword strike, and he varies his attack speeds to catch you off guard. It's hard, but the second phase will make you throw the game, your controller, and your console out the nearest window, because he wields a sword and spear at the same time. Just try to defend or dodge his attacks here, because he can attack you from any distance and at speeds that range from stupid fast to blink and you'll miss it. Plus, he will fire a pistol at you if you run away too much. And on top of everything else, he starts shooting lightning in his third and final form. You cannot make a mistake if you want to defeat him. And for that reason, Ishin the Sword Saint easily claims our #1 spot.
Welcome to Unmuted. We got your esports and gaming hot topics, hot opinions, and hot ladies, and a mute button to level the playing field. I'm Marissa Roberto.
And I'm Lisa Dwan, and I've been warned by producer Tyler that apparently I'm not supposed to mute myself. Oh. And I've been given a strike, but I don't care much for baseball, so I don't care, Tyler. Eat it. What up?
Oh my God.
What?
Lisa!
What?
Listen, if you have no idea who we are or what the heck we're doing, that's cool. You're new. Welcome. Producer Tyler has got 2 minutes on the board and topics to be discussed at the bottom of your screen.
That's right. And at any point in time, when one of us gets out of line and definitely needs to be shut up, the other can hit the mute button, putting us out of our misery.
Look at her already. Anyway, so let's get the show on the road with some unhappy Fortnite pros.
What's new?
In a new update, Epic Games revealed that it is banning stretch screen resolutions from competitive play. Doesn't sound like a big deal by itself, but it's the latest in a string of changes that have pros and streamers up in arms. Someone even hacked the official Fortnite account to protest the updates. And Mr. Fortnite himself, Ninja, even said on stream that until Epic reverts the changes, he will no longer be playing solos. Yikes. Yikes. Okay, so Lisa, do you think these changes are hurting Epic in the long run?
You know what's bad when Ninja steps up and is like, I'm not playing solos. Well, he hasn't canceled the game completely. He's like, I'm just not playing solos.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It seems like Epic isn't listening to its people, but at the same time, so okay, context. So Epic Games is doing this because they want, I guess, even like playing ground, because there's a tournament coming up, the World Cup is coming up. So they want everyone to just be on standardized monitors. Fair, we get that. But the issue here is that, you know, everyone's kind of played on their own monitor sizes and their own customized settings and all that stuff. Just don't want to adapt.
Right.
So, but isn't that fair on Epic's part though? Like for a fair game?
I completely agree that it's fair of Epic to update or just make these changes, especially for the scene where there's going to be competitors playing on an even playing field. That you want, don't you? I don't understand what the complaining is about. Sure, you can't have the bigger ratio, so you can't see more of the map, but it's not fair if the guy next to you can't do the same thing. You want it to be even, Steven. I don't understand the complaint.
But here's the thing. So most players like to play on a bigger, like widescreen ratio. Why don't everyone just play on the wider screen? So it's still equal, it's still even, but it's on a wider screen that most people are used to. Isn't it? Why wouldn't Epic go that way instead?
Because then I guess Epic would be upsetting the people that don't have that option and haven't had that option.
But this is a rule for competitive, right? This is just a rule for competitive. So why don't they just implement this rule for the competitive scene? That just makes more sense. Epic, hello guys?
Okay, fair enough. If that's the case and this is just being implemented in the competitive scene and all the competitors are calling for it, then yes, give the competitors what they want. If this has something to do with the fact that they're also mixing in casuals or newcomers to the game at these tournaments, because I feel like they're opens and they can.
It's World Cup, man. It's World Cup. No noobs are coming out for this one.
I mean, maybe they want some noobs to come out. Maybe
Ninja's just whiny. Maybe he's hitting this wall. He's hitting some wall now. He's like, I'm the, you know?
Yeah, no. I feel that.
Well, anyway, it's time to move on. In chat, guys, let us know if you think Ninja's too whiny. All right, so over in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, speaking of unhappy players, one of the game's best players is really unhappy. TSM Tweak has won multiple tournaments since the start of the year, but in a Twitter thread, he said that Ultimate was boring because it was too slow and safe. Tweak says that he never sees anything cool happen in pro play, and while he does like a handful of characters, he's become bored with how the game is played. So do you agree with him? You've tried Ultimate?
I do. I play Ultimate now. Here's the thing. He might have a point because if I can play and win at a competitive fighting game, down B.
You're winning?
Down B, Kirby, Down
I'm
B.
so happy for you.
Yeah, that's the thing. If I can play in a competitive game, like with other people that also can play the game of Ultimate, and win, or at least place top 2 or 3. I feel like...
Can we get a fact check on that? I don't believe
I feel like, yeah. If there's like a group of 4 of us playing...
Like 3 out of 4 games?
I would place top 2 or 3. But still, the fact that I'm beating at least one other person means that maybe the game is a little too easy for some and possibly could be boring for pros to play. If he is a pro and he's saying this, and obviously there's something to it. I don't want to discredit what he's saying.
This is coming from a pro that's won a lot of things. So like maybe for him, he's like, this is too easy, but what about every other pro? Have you heard, like, I don't know if every other pro is saying something similar, or is it really just the best being like, oh guys, this is too easy.
Yeah.
Oh, this game is so easy. Like, is he just complaining?
And this is a complaint that a lot of pros are having with a lot of developers because they feel like they're giving casuals or noobs or people that aren't as skilled in video games an opportunity to shine. And like, I can't fault the developers for doing that because their bottom line, of course, is money. So at the end of the day,
here's the iconic Marissa line.
It's all about the money.
That was not even planned.
I can't, like, I want to side with the pros for sure because obviously I love them, I respect them, I want them to shine.
Yeah.
And if this is what they're going to complain about, obviously they need to jump over to another game or go back to Melee.
Oh, but isn't that the problem with like when they released Smash 4, people said it was also too easy, which is why they stuck with Melee, and now Ultimate's out, and now they're saying it's still too easy. So you think Melee's gonna come back even though it's not even gonna be at EVO? Like,
I don't know.
We can't just keep going back.
Or developers and publishers need to make another option for pros and literally step up.
A pro version of every game.
Pro version of every game. Let's print that! Time to move on. In the new update for Apex Legends, developer Respawn actually added in a time penalty for people who leave games early. Respawn disabled the feature pretty quickly, saying that it was supposed to be added later, but many fans have since demanded that the penalty be added back in now. They want people who quit the game in the middle of a match to be punished, regardless of the reason. Honestly, I mean, feels for that. Lisa, I mean, we all know that you rage. We all know that you rage and rage quit all the time when playing games. Don't freaking lie. Don't lie.
Prove it.
I can't right now. But watch Green Room. If you watch Green Room, you can see Lisa actually raging because she is a sore loser.
First of all, I've technically never rage quitted. I just get really quiet and upset, and I get really into it.
The inner rage.
Wait, hold on. Respawn, this isn't, I don't get it. Is this like a new development? This is a thing that's been implemented in many games. Like if you quit games in the middle of it or you in the queue, like you don't, press the yes button right away?
Not enough games. Like I feel like if you're playing a competitive game of like Chell online and you quit, a lot of people quit because they're friggin' babies. Are you serious? NHL online. Are you serious? No, when people quit,
Marissa, we're talking competitive here. Come on. We're talking competitive, guys.
Salt on sports, esports, girl. Can't have it. Can't have it. But listen, stop right now. How can I mute her hand movements? No, I want people take the L. They quit, they take the L, but they can't in a team match, right? So obviously there's got to be some kind of punishment put into place. I like that there's a punishment. There should be time punishment. And yes, I agree. Bring it back now, Respawn. Let's go, because I hate whiny babies that just quit the game. Also, but to be fair, Camille had to leave a game early the other day, and she got absolutely trashed by her teammates. But it's because her nephew was crying in the other room. She had to go tend to him. You know what I mean? There's also like real life that comes into play. So. The time penalty actually does make sense though, because it's just time.
No, 100%,
it's just time. Just wait it out. She can tend to her nephew, come back, and live life.
I should think Respawn is way like late on this whole thing, because League of Legends has had this forever. Literally in game, if you want to like give up, you take a vote, right? A majority vote, you can leave. So like that's a fair way to leave the game. Like that's just the standard. And Rainbow Six Siege has implemented a bunch of new rules for like friendly fire, that if you're killing people on purpose and being toxic, you can actually put them on a timeout, basically. Like Respawn, waiting for.
Okay, well the game just came out, like calm your tits. Like,
I mean, I'm just saying, Respawn, get back on that.
Okay.
Anyways, lastly, we have another retirement in the Overwatch League that reminds us that we're all too damn old. Toronto Defiant DPS Stellar announced yesterday that he would be retiring from the game due to personal reasons. This comes as a pretty bad time because Toronto only has 2 other DPS players, and Stage 2 of the Overwatch League begins tonight. The Defiant have yet to announce Stellar's replacement. So do you think this is kind of bad timing on Stellar's part? He's kind of leaving them hanging.
Okay, well, it says for personal reasons, so I feel like personal reasons are always kind of bad timing.
He did tweet out about it.
You don't expect it.
He tweeted out, he actually wrote out a tweet. He said, I am truly sorry to announce my sudden retirement news to all my fans and friends. I have made my decision due to some personal stress issues from mentality and general lifestyle-wise. And he thanks his fans. So like, this sounds like a deeper thing that we gotta kind of understand. You know, like, burnout is a thing in esports.
100. And
he's taking actually a really bold step to admit that and step out, which is a good call.
No, 100%. Like, listen, if your mind isn't with it, like, you're also going to let your team down too, right? So if you're not 100 in it to win it, then yes, it is time to take a step back. It's time to maybe step down, and that's exactly what he's doing. I respect the hell out of this guy. That's amazing. And also to, like, imagine leaving a team with already, they just launched. They have so many freaking fans, so many supporters. Like, he's been a staple in our community as well.
They had a great first season, honestly. They finished 4th in the regular season. This is the first time in the league for them.
And they were predicted to be the heavy underdogs.
Exactly. So, like, so much respect to that org and that team. And it's good on Stellar's part that he's recognized, you know what, maybe this isn't for me. I got to step back. And that's totally fair.
I mean,
no hate there.
No, not at all. But to the point of now they only have 2 DPS players in rotation. I mean, they could also just switch to the GOATS mentality of playing the game where there's just no DPS players. And then that would be a strat. Or just like rotate maybe one in there. I don't know. I don't want to call strats. I don't want to call strats. But they did just let go of their strategic coach.
So what's happening?
Maybe I should be hired and should start to
strats. No, you're not.
Okay.
You're not ready. You're not ready. With your Mercy, you're not ready.
How do you know about that?
I know about. You talk about it all the time. You talk about it all the time. Even for Halloween last year, she was Mercy.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mommy. Now it's time to see what streamers are up to in Clip It. Our first clip comes from Dr. Disrespect, who couldn't put some respect on Tim the Tatman's good deed.
Did you see that Timmy Tennis bought a kid computer that he met in a random duos match? What a guy, says Exile is legit with a file donation. No, he did not buy this kid a computer. What he did is, I need a connection. Right. Okay, good. Yeah, now make me look really good. Like, and then I'll tweet it out. And then I'll tell my chat to tweet it out so that it gets way more likes and retweets. And then it'll make me really look like a good guy. Let's make that happen. All right, I love you as a sponsor. Okay, cool. It's gonna cost me that much? Why? Why is it gonna cost me that much? Yeah, but I know it's just a 6-month contract, but come on, guys. You guys gotta do this for me. I gotta look good. All right, thank you. Bye. Okay, that's what happened.
Oh, man.
You know what, though? Like, I can't even throw salt on that. Like, do you think that he's wrong?
I kind of think he's wrong. I actually think that's like, okay, listen, even if he got a free computer from a sponsor and he didn't pay out of pocket himself, he still went out of his way to make that call. And, like, he's giving someone a free computer. That guy doesn't care where it came from.
That's true.
So, like, why we gotta be so mean?
That's true.
Still a free gift.
Okay, but to the doctor's point, he could have said that it wasn't for me, it was from his sponsor or from this company or from, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't have to say it.
Yeah,
or like shout out to.
Because Tim the Man's the first guy to bluff on the internet.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there doesn't need to be, but you know what? It's the same thing. It's the same thing with like sports as well. When like hockey players give hockey sticks to players that they give. Well, actually, like the company paid for that, and I know that like the big time execs get really pissed off when players do it because it actually costs them money when they're giving out these sticks. Like even though they're sponsored by certain people, they don't get that stuff for free. They still have to pay out of pocket every time a stick is given away. It still upsets them.
It's about building a community. It makes it honestly look good still.
Yes.
So be chill, guys.
Absolutely. So it happens everywhere in any kind of industry. We get these things. Sometimes we get them for free. And listen, like I'm also like guilty of it. I've given people things that I've gotten too. Like
why haven't I gotten anything, Marissa? What the heck? We're gonna talk about this. All right. So have you ever worked so hard just to see everything you worked hard to build crumble in front of you?
God.
Well, Olivan knows all about that. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh no! No! I don't want to know.
What's happening?
Something's about to happen.
No. Yo.
No! Don't spin the chair.
That's a litty setup, though.
Yo, is he gonna get hurt?
Oh my God! It looks so good.
That is.
No!
That was like perfect timing.
That makes me so sad.
I mean,
poor baby.
You know what? Maybe you should hire someone professionally to do that for you.
No.
If that's not your thing, because that's dangerous.
I know, but we're trying to save money, we're trying to use our skills, we're trying to use our, well, you know, everything we have in our repertoire. We're supposed to YouTube this stuff, and like we can do it at home ourselves, like DIY, bitch.
Use double tape. Use double-sided tape or something. Like, but I feel bad. I hope it didn't crack. I think that's just the bottom line. Like, I hope
it definitely cracked, yo.
Oh, poor guy.
It feels bad, man. Feels bad, man. Let's get an F in chat. F in chat right now. Pay some respect. Okay, and now it's time for your favorite time and mine. When we scroll through the Twitters for all the beautiful things the pros have been saying, the Rocket League community was all aflutter with the recent announcement of their esports shop. Aussie RL player CJ expressed his excitement by saying, "You're dead right, we've been bloody waiting. Bluey RL has had 6 girlfriends since the org items were first speculated." Damn, so Lisa, exposed. My question to you is, as one of Bluey's many girlfriends, how do you feel about this?
What? I've never even met the guy. It was only an online thing, I swear. No, I knew it! I'm kidding.
I knew it! Check your DMs. Check your DMs.
Nice to meet you, Bluey. All right, first of all.
I'm sorry, he's underage. Okay,
oh my God, I did not know that.
This is just a joke. He's really young. That was totally jokes. I'm sorry. I do love you, Bluey. I love you, Bluey.
But like in a platonic way.
Yeah, totally. Like I love you as a friend, always.
Why are you gonna bring me into this now? The cop's gonna be knocking on my door.
Check your DMs.
Don't check my DMs. So back to the topic here. First of all, why you gotta throw Bluey under the bus like that?
What do you mean under the bus? You're hot. What are you saying?
No, not me. What? Stop making this about me. I'm saying, first of all, what if Bluey's girlfriends didn't know about each other, and like now he's in trouble? What if we don't hear from Bluey the next couple of days? Like,
no, we all know about each other. It's all on Twitter. It's fine, except for nobody knew about Lisa until now.
Hi. Hey guys. Okay, this is totally off the walls. Let's move on. All right, in a move that surprises no one, Slasher's been stirring the old Twitter pot yesterday in response to a lot of complaints from some game journalists. Yep. In their reviews, Slasher says, "I'm down for an easy mode in Sekiro if they called it game journalist mode." Ooh. Ooh, okay, that got a lot of journalists very triggered.
So many.
You covered, you know, games.
So many.
How did you react to this one?
Okay, I wasn't offended because I understand Slasher. Like, I understand how he tweets. I understand that he likes to stir the pot. I understand that he was just making jokes. I understand that. So he was just making jokes. Like, yeah, I mean, there's a little truth in every joke. So, like, he with it, obviously. Yeah. So many people triggered, so many people attacking him over it. It's just so crazy because, like, I came from the gaming journalist side and I cover esports, so like I empathize with both sides. Yeah. So I understand why they would be upset, which is why I tweeted, like, listen, it's just a joke, can we all just get along? And some people replied, like, well, it's Twitter, nobody gets along, first of all, which is, that's real. Yeah. And people were saying that, no, like, when people like this are stirring the pot, everybody in the esports world obviously believes it because they don't know game journalists at all. Yeah. The thing is, to be fair, okay, because a lot of game journalists have been called out for not finishing a game. Oh. Yeah, and not being the best gamers. Listen, like, I understand why you would say that. Like, I'm not the greatest gamer of all time, but I love and appreciate games, and I also love and appreciate developers, which is why I'm able to play the game and give the developers they love, they deserve, or hate if they deserve it too, if the game is broken. Yeah. I played as much as I possibly could in the time frame that I had before review needed to go out. So a lot of these game journalists are under a time crunch when they first get the game. They do their best to finish it. Sometimes they can't, especially if the game is very difficult and they need to replay it over and over and over again. So I have love for both parties. No shade, no hate, no salt. Understand where both are coming from. It's just, again, going back to the pros versus the Joes.
Speaking of time crunch, the show does have a time limit. We're good?
Never mind then.
We're good. Write a blog post about it.
Show your face. A new contender enters this ring for Profound Thoughts Melee Pro Tempo Storm 0 tweets. The girl at the bank pronounced my last name, Barrios, as burritos. And then I died laughing in the bank, and she was so embarrassed and apologetic. Aw, that's like so G-rated and adorable for these profound thoughts, I have to say.
Maybe it was lunchtime and she was hungry.
Aw, muffin. Yeah. But okay, first of all, I know that I've mispronounced your name, like last name, like once or twice.
Once or twice?
How do you feel about it?
Once or twice? You still pronounce it wrong to this day, Marissa. It's only 4 letters, Marissa. I've told you a billion times. It's Dwan. It rhymes with swan. It's very simple. It's not Doan. I'm not related to the hockey player, whatever his name, Doan.
Shane Doan.
Whatever that guy. It's Dwan.
Okay, but it's spelled like Shane Doan. And it's D-O-A-N, so how would you pronounce it at home?
Guys.
Just be real. Be honest.
Respect.
Be honest.
Respect creativity was my last name.
Respect your culture.
Respect
one.
Respect me.
I'm sorry.
All right, let's move on to some crowd controlled, which is basically stuff you guys on the internet have created or shared. So this first one was posted by Meme Deli on Reddit that depicts a life cycle most gamers can relate to. All right, let's check this out.
Okay.
So at the very top there, excitement. It always starts with excitement. Oh man, this trailer looks awesome. This is the game I'm waiting to play. And then, you move on to trust. I'm so gonna pre-order this game. Like you're committed. The game gets released, and all of a sudden, the servers are down. Gameplay is broken. I have to buy half of the content. Say what? And then anger. That does it. I'm never buying a game from this publisher again. And then caution. Hey, wait, hang on. Remember this happened last time? There's a new game about to come out, but guys, we should be careful. And then we go back to the trailer gets released, and we're excited all over again. That is just the life cycle of a game.
Was this about EA or?
I did not say that EA. No, I did throw some shade on Shell.
You so did. No, obviously I love EA. I love the devs at EA. I love everybody at EA. That was just jokes. But just jokes. Can't relax. No, I do feel that. I also feel like that is kind of relatable to missing a couple steps, relatable to like movie trailers as well. Because that new Joker trailer came out, I'm so hype about it.
It's so good.
It's so good, but like, I'm so scared that
DC? Because DC has ruined you?
No, DC does make decent.
DC
does make decent.
Oh my.
Okay, they do sometimes. I mean, except for Suicide Squad.
But we don't talk about that.
Oh, actually, no. There's been a lot of movies.
Wonder Woman.
Whoops. Yeah, Wonder Woman was good, but maybe that was the only.
Oh God.
Oh my God, they ruined Ben Affleck. He could have been Batman and now he can't anymore, and they've ruined him forever.
Oh no, Justice League was alright too. But the point is, this cycle is just something that happens all the time. This just happens all the time, but you know what? We still stick in this cycle because we love it. We can't stop ourselves.
It's like our flow. Our next post makes me feel like I need to get one of these friends. Frametrapped on Twitter shared that he made this for a friend.
Let's see it.
He tweeted that it's all made from one American oak piece and joined from the casing, then coated and laser etched in the final piece. That's exciting. He said it was possibly the most nervous he's been when laser etching.
That looks amazing.
Yo, that's really pretty.
That is amazing art.
Well, yeah, for sure. And like, how nervous would you be? It's like you've set everything up. You've got the wood there. You're good. Everything's sanded. It's coated. Everything's ready to go.
You
and then you only get one shot, one opportunity. This is everything you ever wanted.
Lose yourself. Okay. But the point is, don't mute me. Let me rap. Let me live my dream. But the point is,
Mom spaghetti.
That was actually amazing art, and I think he said his friend got it. Like, it was a surprise. And honestly, where can I get a friend like that?
I know.
Because I want personalized stuff.
Because it's not gonna be me.
I know. You already said before that you give presents to everyone except me. I got it, Marissa.
I love you. I give you shade in the form of love.
You can take it back. Where's the receipts? All right, now I want to move on. This last post, posted by Nubex, shows that supermarkets really are branching out on what they're selling these days. Let's take a look.
What's that?
If you look at the little receipt thingy, it says Frag Booster. They're selling Frag Boosters.
Booster?
It actually is short for Fragrance Booster.
Aww.
So they're selling CSGO Boost now in supermarkets, which is sick.
That's fun. That would be a fun little insider, like, stocking stuffer.
Imagine there's like an aisle for esports, like an aisle like League of Legends hacks. Like,
this is a dance move. League of Legends hacks.
Oh God, white people dancing.
Okay, we need to end this ASAP. Listen, that's all for today on Unmuted. Hope you guys enjoyed. And remember, you can always hit us up on our socials at Squad State with the things you want us to review or discuss. Until next time, we'll see you later.
I used to go to the grungy like pizza place by my house.
Oh wait, what?
Well, my mom's not watching this.
So your pizza place had one arcade machine, or?
No, it had a few, but it was like you'd walk in, it's like a pizza place, like legit, and then he'd be like, you'd go in there, be like, hey, can we like? He's like, yeah, and the owner would let you go down to the bottom. It's like underneath this like venue.
I feel like that.
It was like pretty shady.
For kids
it was.
To just go with a random stranger to their basement.
But that's how it was back then. It wasn't like really a thing to do, right?
Fly these days.
No. What the? What? But yeah, it was like so shady. It was kind of younger. There was, there was older kids there that would like, steal your quarters and stuff.
Did you get your quarters stolen?
Yeah, I got my quarters probably stolen a couple times. But then I used to drive.
Did you steal quarters?
I never stole quarters, no.
He was thinking of
Now you went steal quarters.
You know we had to throw it back in the green room for Thursday with some retro games, hence the sweater. Now, if you have any tips of what we should actually play in the green room, let us know on our socials. In a bit in Esports in 30, Marissa and Brody are talking Rocket League. But first, let me get you caught up on all the top stories in Reported. The Fortnite World Cup is still a few months away, but that isn't stopping Epic Games from hosting a warm-up tournament this weekend. Called the Fortnite World Cup Warm-Up, the tournament will feature a $500,000 US prize pool that will have a much broader distribution. The top players will earn less money, but it does mean that more players will actually be able to win some of the prize pool. The World Cup warm-up will take place a week before qualifiers for the actual World Cup kickoff. Each of those qualifiers will have a $1 million prize pool, meaning that if you want to get involved in competitive Fortnite, there's no better time than now. The NBA 2K League announced this week that the Charlotte Hornets would be joining the league for its third season next year. The Michael Jordan-led basketball team will be the 22nd franchise to join the league, following the original 17 teams and the 4 that joined prior to Season 2. The league has stated that multiple franchises were interested in joining ahead of Season 2, but that they weren't able to complete the application process in time. The second season kicked off on April 2nd, and judging by the rate of expansion, it won't be long before all 30 NBA teams are represented in the league. In an explosive report published by Kotaku, multiple sources are alleging that BioWare's mismanagement caused the troubled development of Anthem. According to current and former employees, Anthem was in development for 7 years, but only entered production 18 months before its launch in February. Apparently, due to an inability to commit to decisions, trouble with the Frostbite engine, and a culture that fostered mental health issues, Anthem struggled to make it out the door in time for release. BioWare said in a statement that it is addressing criticisms of workplace culture, but declined to comment on the article because it names several individuals. In a leaked email also obtained by Kotaku, BioWare will hold an all-hands meeting next week to discuss company changes with employees.
To scramble on defense here. Can they find their way towards the box?
That's a welcome clear.
Hey, hang on with that clear as time expires. One more chance. Passed over to Sebadam. Puts it just above the crossbar.
Can they recover?
3 for Data. Oh, mama! 0 seconds tie game.
Holding firm is the dude's D.
And it was super sad for Timon. Oh my goodness, but super amazing for Joe Freshness.
What up and welcome to Esports in 30, the show, where we take a deep dive into your favorite esports, and today it's your most favorite of all. It's car soccer, baby, Rocket League. I'm Brady Moore, and this is Marissa Rebauto, and there's so much to catch up on Rocket League.
Okay, you really butchered
the RLCS play-ins, RLCS Season 7, we got all that hype ready for you.
That's right, no doubt we will get to RLCS in just a minute. But first, we're going to chat Rival Series play-ins. Did you miss it? Well, fear not, because here are the highlights.
Goals in this series against the 3 14 yellow and prey. 14 goals and a 15th by Mark by 8,
as it must for Afterthought. Hato to the corner, the Shock into the left hand, still in. A huge goal for Shock, and they might get one off the kickoff. They've got them all beat, and Afterthought blow everyone's mind.
And Birds and Bees doing a much better job now. They're finding this ball in the midfield, not letting the dudes out, but maybe a double tap from Joe Freshness. Beautiful touch from him. Now no one home. The net was relatively open, and Data not able to finish it off. Now 2v1, swoop in, makes some of them jump for it. And
it's still going in.
Get the hit that he was looking for, swooping.
That will open a big hole and just crush downfield. Holy Noli is able to catch it. Whoa, mama, where'd that come from?
Holy moly, Holy Noli does it. Holding firm is the dude's E.
And it was super sad for Timon. Oh my goodness, but super amazing for Joe Freshness. ARG to scramble on defense here. Can they find their way towards the box?
That's a welcome clear.
Hey, hang on with that clear as time expires. One more chance. Pass over to Sebadam. Puts it just above the crossbar.
Can they recover?
3 for Gato. Oh, mama! 0 seconds tie game. It wasn't the best touch from Al Dente. He tried to find Sebadam. Now marked by 8.
Nice pass.
Shot. Goal. GCR takes the lead for ARG.
Bump, almost making it happen. Now Skyline in a 1v1 situation.
Oh, he faked him!
Skyline!
Enter this battle for possession on the midfield line. A free ball for Alpha Cap as T. Corral tipped it right down. The demo will open the door. NCPS will convert.
There was 6 teams in North America and 4 teams in Europe that move on, and congrats to everyone that, of course, made it into the Rival Series. Now, I know I was there, but Marissa, I can't do this alone with just you. You're dragging me down. So we're bringing in Nick, Vodible, and Brozic. What's up, buddy?
Why are you the worst person ever?
That's
Like
great.
what?
I'm doing pretty good.
Oh my gosh, so happy to have you. Obviously, we all worked together at one point doing gnarly qualifiers.
Ago.
Yeah, that was fun. Forever, ever. So happy to have you.
Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to share a little bit of my knowledge and hopefully help fill in those gaps.
Yeah, perfect. All right, let's just jump into it. Play-ins had a lot of names some people are probably unfamiliar with to the people at home, but the action was, of course, always awesome. It seems like it's just an awesome chance for like new people to put out their stories and just follow new. There's a couple specifically I'm excited about. We'll talk about like Joe Freshness, of course. But to get their storylines out there, what's the importance of having like an open bracket like this to play into the Rival Series?
Well, the open bracket kind of makes it more accessible for a lot of people instead of having just a closed qualifier. Only a certain amount of invited teams. If there are teams that just form the day of, they can actually qualify that day too. And we kind of saw that happen in the European region as well.
We want to hit North America first, of course. We like to break these up.
Let's talk about them.
Right? North America and Europe. So
yeah, we'll split it up. We'll keep it organized there. So in terms of like recognizable names right off the bat, Afterthought probably had the most with a couple RLCS veterans there, Tyler and Hato. Was the experience difference between them and the rest of the squads like super obvious from your perspective?
From my perspective, after watching the play-ins and seeing these teams perform in other tournaments like the Renegade Cup, it seems that most of the Rival Series teams are going to give them a run for their money. Most people are actually saying that Afterthought aren't going to make top 4 as well because of how competitive it is.
Wow.
What are your thoughts on it, though? Like, do you think they're going to be an easy shoo-in?
I don't think it's going to be an easy shoe-in just because of how much more competitive Rocket League as a whole has become, and the gap is kind of shortened compared to the previous seasons from what we've seen.
Of the names that I didn't know, probably one of them that impressed us the most was Joe Freshness, of course, of the dudes who showed no nerves, pulling some really mechanically skilled plays. Brody told me before we sat down that the whole broadcast was loving him. So talk to me about dudes and Joe Freshness specifically.
Well, the Dudes has been a name that's been around in the Rival Series since it got announced the first time. They've qualified for the first season, had some struggles here and there, made a different roster changes, had people come in like Joro, who was on Rogue for a second, and then we had a lot of other players like Ralph and AXB, but now Joe Freshness, he kind of rounds out that roster, bringing them that all-star power because he's able to just get as many goals as possible. I think he got like 12 during the play-in, so he's definitely a player I'm going to be looking out for during the Rival Series league play.
Now the question though is mechanics like Joe Freshness enough in the Rival Series? We mentioned like everyone's getting so good. Is that enough now for just a player like that to shine through and be able to not carry, but give that extra boost to a team to make it to the top, or is there going to be a little bit more needed from the dudes?
Ooh, I feel like they have what is needed. They just need to iron out some of the mistakes they make, obviously with rotations and defense here and there. A lot of these teams have consistency as their main issue, and if they can work that out, they're going to just rise to the top and maybe even make it into the RLCS after the promotion tournament.
Of the other teams that made it into the Rival Series, Upper 90, Birds, and the V's, Plot Twist, and Defiant, which one of them looks the most RLRS ready?
Ooh, that's definitely for me having to be Birds and the Bees. They were the old Afterthought roster after some change-ups happened. We have Hoxer, Mist, and Roldiz, and then Fire as their sub. They have just been performing quite well for themselves in the offseason. They even qualified for WSOE during that and took down a bunch of RLCS teams. They don't have Shock, but Shock is also an afterthought, so it's going to be a little bit of a rivalry going on between those teams.
That's going to be good.
Well, I mean, were there any players who either qualified or failed to make it that caught your eye and maybe you want to give a specific shout out to?
Oh, goodness. I want to give a shout out to a team specifically, RBG Esports. They were so close to qualifying. They've been working their hardest. They are probably the most consistent roster in the offseason as well, always getting top 8 in every tournament they competed in. They just couldn't get past that last hurdle. And that was the consistency factor. It just kind of fell apart after we saw them get in the lower bracket. And even Sway Esports, everyone expected them to come out on top. They were the first seed and they were out early as well.
Yeah,
you're number 1 seed.
Yeah.
And they just get rocked. In a perfect series too. They got 3-0'd in the lower bracket and didn't score a single goal. What happened, dude?
Yeah.
That was RBG Esports. They took them down. They just had the momentum going after all the wins they were racking up. They weren't able to get the last one, unfortunately, to qualify, but it just seems like Sway was just off for the majority of that bracket. They had like 2 or 3 best of 5s against teams they should not have any reason to lose to. So after losing in the qualifying match of the upper bracket, they just couldn't handle it, it seemed.
Okay, well, let's spend a few minutes on Europe as well, because there were some super interesting teams there for sure.
Yeah, there were fewer, just a reminder, there were fewer RLRS spots too, because there were only 4. So it's like, it was even more competitive, which, so like of all the teams that made it in the upper bracket, the Right Stuff and Baguette squad there, they looked very solid. Extra on Baguette squad won MVP of the Plains. Should fans be excited to see him in action?
I'd say they should be excited to see them in action, especially because a lot of these teams, people didn't expect them to make it in. We also saw the number 1 seed not making it into the rival series again in Europe, but they even had more disparity with lower seeds qualifying as well. So Europe just has so much depth compared to North America. It's a toss-up again, even more so, for who's going to come out on top for that series.
ARG is a team that's been on the cusp for a while, and finally they make it into the rival series. So walk us through their journey and what this must mean to them.
Well, since they've been competing for such a long time and now they're finally able to qualify, it just validifies what the work they've been putting in and shows everyone that they are here to compete at the top level, and they're going to try and go all the way up to the RLCS if they can make it there.
Now, my question, we did see them during the Renegade Cup, which you were there for, but they did end up, of course, not really having much of a chance against Savage, who are an RLCS team. How much more work do you think ARG, do you think ARG has what it takes now to get into that promo relegation tourney and make it up to the RLCS, or they got a bit of work to do?
I feel like every team has a little bit of work to do to get to that RLCS level, especially speaking back on that consistency. I'm going to keep going back to that because that's really the difference maker between rival series level and RLCS level. They have a lot of the same mechanical skill. It's just when they're able to pull it off consistently during the matches that matter. And we saw that from ARG when they qualified. So hopefully they can continue that going into league play for the rival series.
So another team that a lot of people were hyped up on for a bit because they did really well at DreamHack, but Team Echo Zulu was missing here. Was this like a surprise, or did you think maybe, no, that was a honeymoon, I expected this?
I mean, it might have been a honeymoon. A lot of changes happen between teams in the rival series qualifiers, and some of them just, because it's a one-day qualifier, they have to show up then, and if they don't show up then it's just not going to work out for a lot of these teams, and they have to wait 6 months. So maybe it was just a honeymoon phase. Hopefully they'll be able to maybe come back and reform and get another chance at next season, but it happens all the time with a lot of these teams, and I expect to see even more Team Echo Zulu stories happening in future DreamHacks as well.
Well, speaking of teams not making the cut, Nordavind was not playing up to their potential. Data had a good showing, but was this just the case of the whole team just missing the mark when it mattered?
It happens a lot of times with these teams in the European region where they get kind of complacent when they have already qualified in previous series for the rival series. So then they think, oh, it's just going to be a wash going in. But because of how competitive it is, they can't really afford to take their foot off the gas pedal. They have to train as hard as possible. And it seems that Nordavind just maybe didn't want it as much as the other teams who were trying to qualify.
All right, Vodible, we're going to add some boost and kick it up a notch here because the RLCS starts this weekend as we need to get prepared. So before we talk all about it, let's refresh ourselves on all the insane moments from last year.
Panda puts it straight out. It's going to be over to Kana. It's almost in. Fulham scored. Justin keeps it alive. Turbo's there. Bounces into the corner. Energy still around. Justin is there for the shot. Justin! This is Rocket League. They did it. Turbo pulls it up high. Gets the flick. Turbo! Back-to-back world champions. Team Dignitas.
Torma gets this one away. Squishy's airborne, keeping it here in the midfield, giving himself options. He's got an open in front of the puts it underneath. Oh my goodness! That clear will do it. Cloud9 secure their chance to challenge Dignitas in the finals. It'll be North America versus Europe for the World Championship.
Squishy into the corner. Another touch, pass out into the middle. Torman is there!
And they won't make it!
And that is it! The streak is over! Cloud9 take the first match in the grand finals! Squishy pounces to himself.
He gets it!
Reset! Can he do it? Squishy does it go in? Torman finishes it off! Cloud9! They are about to do the unthinkable! They've done it! Cloud9 dethrones the kings of Rocket League! And they do it. Cloud9, your Season 6 World Champions!
Bruh, 2018 was a sick year in the RLCS, and I'm so hyped for Season 7 to start. Let's get this preview started, though, with G2 in North America. G2 had a pretty middling offseason, you know, with WSOE and DreamHack, despite the promise of the roster showed with Chicago. So I don't know, maybe they had a honeymoon phase that is now going to be okay coming into the season. What are your thoughts? Vodible.
Everyone always rags on G2's offseason, but when it comes to league play, they are the kings. They are able to perform time and time again. So I don't think we can start doubting them yet until we see them lose a few matches to some of the lower level teams that are in the RLCS. So I don't think we should start doubting them until we see those kind of results because of how consistent the roster as a whole. I feel like Chicago just brings a whole nother level of energy to this roster also.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think the Chicago push in there and the drop of Kronovi was the right decision?
I feel like it might be. Kronovi's been around in the scene for such a long time, and his devotion to maybe practicing and being the best, as we've seen with his recent results with Rogue, maybe was to the detriment of the team itself. So they bring in some fresh blood, which is Chicago, who's hot on the scene. He came all the way from the rival series, got brought onto a team in RLCS, and then he's looking to just make it big and go for the stars and maybe get the World Championship title under his belt. And I'm sure that's what JNaps and Rizzo both want for their team. And they've been so close so many times, but the World Championship is usually where they struggle. So maybe this time they'll be able to perform there.
Wins land.
I know.
That's going to be insane.
But seriously, it feels bad for Kronovi though. Like, I love him so much, and I just don't. It's fine. He's fine. He'll be fine forever. He'll be okay. Just feels, man. Two teams I'm super excited for are Splice and Bread coming in from the rival series. But as much as I love friend of the show, Nose Dude, and I'm excited to see him play these teams, I'm a bit nervous because in the past the promoted teams have kind of been a revolving door here. So do you think that Splice and Bread have what it takes to actually shake things up?
I feel like Splice and Bread have a different level of dedication to practice before the league play itself is ever going to start. This weekend is actually going to be pretty great to see them on the stream. But Splice, they haven't really been focusing on anything in the offseason. Their results maybe not the greatest, but Karma mentioned time and time again that their 100% focus is on league play and to perform, and hopefully they're able to come up with those results they want. And Bread, they've been doing quite well for themselves even at the DreamHacks and in the offseason too, so I'm sure they're going to continue that. They might be more middle of the pack compared to some of the other teams that we've seen, and I'm kind of worried a little bit about Rogue itself.
Yeah, well, don't tell her that. But yeah, I guess just for the two of them, they both have a pretty rough week one, I'd say. I mean, again, G2 against Bread and then C9 and Splice. Like, who do you think is going to have, I think I can answer that, but who do you think is going to have a better chance to grab that first win?
I think, oh my goodness, Splice probably, because they have 2 matches, so obviously they have a better chance. Facing off against Ghost is most likely the match that they'd be able to take a win there. Bread facing off against G2, that's really going to be the test of the G2 roster facing off against this hot off the scene from the rival series team of Bread, and they are going to be going with so much fury trying to make it all the way into the World Championships and prove themselves even more so.
Yeah. All right. This is a big question. We haven't established like top 3 in North America, but the biggest question is that middle of the pack. In this case, Ghost, EG, Rogue. Can they challenge the top 9? Do you think they're getting close? I mean, especially with Ghost with that Illusion ad, EG with Drip A. Do you think they have what it takes to kind of make it a top 6 NA?
So that's a really tough question. A lot of people have been heavily debating this as well. I know Ghost and EG, since the roster changes that they have made, they've taken a little bit to get used to, but Ghost look a lot better with Illusion compared to Zane Jackie. And EG, with the roster change from OCE, they look pretty solid, but still going to take a little bit of work to get to that level of the top 3, Energy, G2, and C9. So if they put the work in, they can do it. It's just going to maybe take another season for them to challenge the top and hopefully maybe take the reins from NRG, who've been just dominating the scene so far.
Okay, so I know it's way too early to make finals predictions, but if you were to say an NA team in the finals, I mean, what would you say, NRG?
I'd say either it's a toss-up between the top 3 at this point, Energy, G2, or C9. It could be either of them. Cloud9, they've been very consistent with their performances as well, obviously coming off of that World Championship win. NRG, they are desperate for a victory for those finals. They've gotten to it. They just were so close, but they just weren't able to get the victory. And G2, they have a lot to prove to their fans and themselves, so it's a toss-up between all 3 of those.
That's true. All right, let's move over to Europe right now because it's a little more interesting and spread out here. One question for all of you. No, we got lots. But the question right now is this Vitality season. Like, it looks like they're a little bit better off now.
They do look a lot more confident going into this as well, and they've had great results against other teams. They've been scaring Dignitas after their roster changes, obviously, with Fairy Peak, Scrub Killa, and K-Dop. They look very solid, and they've been working out in the scrims a little bit, so maybe that'll help them out going into the season. And it's going to be a rivalry between them and PSG because they keep going back and forth in sets as well, and that team has been looking pretty solid. Crazy
about PSG. I need to know though, can Vitality, Dignitas be challenged by X-Flipside moving forward with speed?
I think it's possible, but it's going to really rely on how well Speed is able to rise to the challenge. We saw him during WSOE where they got the victory there. They haven't really shown too much after that, though, so we might need to see more results in league play before we can say if they're ever going to be able to challenge Vitality and Dignitas.
No, I think the TSM need to prove E-League and RLCS wasn't a fluke again because they've kind of not had the best results after that. It's a bit of a question mark. Are you worried about them at all? Or do you think kicking back into league play, they're going to be just fine?
I'm not too worried, but seeing those poor results and showings at WSOE and DreamHack is kind of telling of the complacency we see from a lot of these teams. After they get those kind of good finishes or victories, then they go into the other terms. They think, oh, it's just going to be a walk in the park. But because of how close Europe is, it's really, you have to put your A game in or you're not going to get to World Championships. And that's what we're probably going to see between most of these teams that are competing this season.
That's going to be tough.
Okay, so there's a mix of new faces and veterans coming into the game. Of course, it's awesome to see Bluey if his attitudes in check. Devo back in the scene and bringing Alpha with them. And of course, the 3 rookies on Triple Trouble. So who are you most excited to see? Honestly, for me, I feel like it's Bluey just to see the turnaround.
Yeah, Savage is looking solid.
Yeah.
Savage, as Brody mentioned, Savage have looked the best out of the 2 teams. Triple Trouble, they have had some trouble in Paradise with their roster a few times and trying to make everything work in the offseason. I love the guys on Triple Trouble, Ronicky, Tadpole, and Cassio. Great guys all around, but Devo, Blue, and Alpha, it seems they just have more talent. And I hate to say that in Rocket League. It's a lot about mechanics and how much work you put into it. But these 3 players have just proven themselves, taking down Dignitas and all the other RLCS teams consistently. And as long as it doesn't get to their head, they're going to be looking pretty good going into this league play.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, like, obviously they're looking solid, but we do know there can be some volatility if players, maybe drive too hard or get in their own teammates' heads. What can be some of the issues you might see for Savage coming into league play? Is it like if they don't get a good start, they might fall apart, or what's going to be their biggest hurdle?
Yeah, if they don't get a good start, they could fall apart. If they aren't able to get their first few victories in league play, they face Dignitas. So if they get that, they're going to be solid. They're just going to be riding off that energy going into the remainder of the weeks of the season. But if they lose that one, they face off against Vitality, which will be a struggle there too in week 2. So they just have to keep their wits about them, go at it as best as they have before, and they're going to look pretty solid. But it might just be some inner turmoil that could turn them off from being a top team this season.
That's the thing. There's not really any easy schedules for anybody anymore.
Yeah.
Because everyone's so good.
Okay, then, so across the board then, is EU more balanced or maybe more top heavy than NA?
I'd say EU is way above the level of balance compared to NA, because we have a solidified top 3 with G2, NRG, and Cloud9 here, especially this season. I have no idea. Most people are kind of putting like maybe Triple Trouble or Mouse at like the lower end, but even them have been putting in a lot of work, so they might be able to shake up the standings in the few weeks that happen for league play.
Damn.
Now, just way early predictions. If you had to pick just your top team to represent each region right now, before we let you go, who is that?
Well, I'm still going to go with Dignitas because they have the consistent results. They haven't shown that they look any worse with Yukio because they've put in so much work with that roster, even in the offseason. And Turbo Posa and Violent Panda, they are one of the most consistent players in the RLCS, so they're going to continue with that grind and try and take it all the way to the top. And even when that team hasn't gotten the top of league play, they've still performed well in the World Championship, so they'll look good. Cloud9 have the consistency. They pretty much figured out the way to counter a lot of these European teams after their last performance.
Thrive in chaos.
They're going to be looking dangerous. Exactly. They thrive in that chaos. They're able to pull off the crazy flip reset, ceiling shots, and we're probably going to see plenty more from them as well.
Oh, dude, I'm excited. Vodible, my friend, has been a pleasure chatting Rocket League, but we are out of time, unfortunately. I'll see you around.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's been a pleasure.
All right, so let's quickly wrap this up with the greater RLCS picture, shall we? Because yesterday, Brody, you read some news and you lost your damn mind. So, what? Can we? Brody! Oh my God, come back! We have to talk about esports support shop.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
So hyped.
Okay.
I just made a whirlwind.
I feel it.
Okay.
The gush that came here. Okay, why is this exciting?
This is absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's something that the community's been wanting for so long. Sonics announced it last year that they're going to be working on it, and now it's before the end of Season 7. It's now come earlier than we thought it would. April 16th is their tentative date, just making as long as everything goes perfect. And now there's going to be support for items. Likely, I'm assuming, or I don't know, maybe it's merch, whatever it is, whatever their shop is going to be great for the orgs, because now orgs are going to be like, yo, we can get in, like, now we're excited, we can make money back on this. It's just going to bring more teams in. Like, we've already seen some big teams, but there are a lot of unsigned teams right now.
Yes,
right?
So many.
I'm assuming we're going to start seeing a lot of bigger orgs, from other esports starting to drop in. Like,
crazy.
Like
we might see an Echo Fox, we might see.
I'd love to see that. Some ninjas in pajamas. I don't know if teams are already working on stuff, but this is what we needed to help solidify that. Okay, the Rocket League Esports 2019 is the thing.
Yeah, you were just losing your mind a little bit about it because you're just reading the news and you couldn't even deal. I guess because like in my mind, like when you were talking about it, it almost made it seem like there was going to be like highlight reels. There's going to be like even more to it, but it's just like a shop basically.
Yeah. Okay. So the whole patch, I guess, that's coming out, or like the announcement, the blog post that they put out, was that there's other things too, and this is fantastic because so many people like Doomsy have been asking for more tools for the. For doing video editing and stuff, because those guys already make absolutely incredible videos,
they're so amazing, but it takes them so long to make.
And now adding more tools, so now they have like video effects tools that you can the bokeh, all your depth of field, and just get really cool cinematic shots. And I'm imagining, again, I don't know what's in it, but I'm imagining some filters, anything that's gonna make these videos and montages just look sick. I mean, my brother used to show me all the time these Team Fortress 2 montages, or CSGO montages, where people would build like new engines and just do really cool things with it. And then Rocket League already looks sick, and there's already a lot of great tools, but this is gonna get us to that point.
Heck yeah, it's like the smooth action replays where you can like zoom in, zoom out, it doesn't really matter. Like we don't have to rely on the actual broadcast replay, but they can actually go in and retool. There's nothing better than a good montage. I mean, I guess I didn't need more things to get you excited about Rocket League, but I feel like you've peaked. Is this as hype as you can get?
I mean, until, except for when April 16th, tentatively, that's when I'm peaking. That's it's gonna be so hype. The biggest news in that blog post, though, hands down, had to be we're getting more Monster Cat flags. I just like my favorite thing. Yeah, no, my favorite thing was just kind of tagged on at the end. It's like so many people. I mean, it's still sick because I love Monster Cat. Yeah. But it's just kind of funny to see the esports shop that everyone has been waiting for so long. My Twitter feed yesterday was just that's all it was about the esports shop. They just kind of tagged on. Yeah, you know, we got more Monster Cat flags for you guys.
The flags. They can be lit.
Yeah, no, it's sick. Like honestly, this is huge. Sonics has really cool plans. Like it's just 2019 is the year of the car ball, like straight up.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. I've been feeling like Rocket League has been on the peak or the cusp of their, I don't know, it's like their time to shine. I feel like this could be it. So I just feel like it's also just that esport that can bring everybody in. People that don't understand esports, this is the game, this is the genre, this is the time for Rocket League. I'm just so excited that you're such a huge part of it, Brody.
Yeah. I love Rocket League.
Okay.
All right, Marissa, we gotta wrap it up. She's probably gonna murder me soon, anyways, because I actually got a flight to catch out to the RLCS. I'm so hyped it's back, and I hope you guys at home are as well.
Yeah, definitely. Especially thanks to having you around, and thanks to you for tuning in. And remember, tomorrow on Esports in 30, it's SPS Day, where Zerk and I will talk all things Call of Duty Pro League. If you like the show and want more, follow us on all the socials at Squad State. We out.
Looks like 2019 is shaping up to be the year of Rocket League, so I'll be keeping my eyes on it. Remember, we're back here tomorrow starting at 1 p.m. Eastern with gameplay live from the Green Room. Then again at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have more unmuted plays of the week, and in Esports in 30, we're talking CWL. Till then, you can tune into our socials at Squad State and our YouTube channel for all the VODs in case you missed anything. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.